menu across the whole country, very simple to buy and sell to. Consistent menus globally, this is that limited service and family dining. I like that business. As a distributor, it's easy. I can go to them corporately and suggest new ideas for them because every one of their menus in every restaurant around the country is the same. So when we talk to them, pretty simple in the sense that, hey, you're using #1 bell peppers, maybe you're chopping them up. I suggest you use #2 chopper bell peppers, which we have. You're going to save this much money, and they can flip a switch, and every one of their restaurants are going to change, and they can tell them to do that. Specific needs, specialty variable items, and others. Every other restaurant out there becomes a single transaction sale because they're all different. The cruise ships are different. Every hotel menu tends to be different. And of course, independent restaurants are different. Completely different sale and how you go about it, how you go about pricing it, and how you go about selling it. So, methods food service operators go to and why. So in the US, almost all major QSRs go directly to the grower. So we have huge growers, very food service based. McDonald's contracts with the grower directly and with the processor. I know that Wendy's recently went out to bid. Believe it or not, Wendy's, which is this huge chain, well, maybe you do, is not processed. They still believe in using iceberg lettuce and romaine because they want to chop the product up themselves in every single restaurant. So Wendy's goes out to bid, and it's 50 trailer loads of lettuce every single week. That's what they use. So they go out to the industry reacts directly to them, and then distributors get in the middle. Family dining and limited service, there's kind of a combination there because they're big enough where they can go to the grower, but not on everything. They have a lot of items they don't use enough of, so we then step in and help contract items for them and sell them items, and they use the grower as a combination. Local chain, independents, travel and leisure, B&I, education, healthcare are almost exclusively purchased just between the distributor and the customer. They really don't get very involved in the grower because if you remember correctly, since they don't have this concentrated single menu, they have such a diversity of items they can't leverage and focus enough on a single item to go to the grower. So we act as their distributor from everything that we do from them, from the way we source product to the way they get delivery. So when we match up customers and we decide what level of service they're going to need and what kind of supplier they need, and I think Simon will tell you this, it's exclusively dependent on the size of the delivery. The most important metric that I look at in my business for the success is how big the delivery is, because it costs me a certain amount to send out. Every day I open my doors, it costs me a certain amount of money. Every time I send out a truck, I have to pay for the fixed on the truck, the variable on the truck, and I have to pay for the driver. So I can divide that by how many cases are on the truck, or how much profit is on the truck, or how many stops are on the truck. And Cisco has so many metrics, the way we measure it, it'd make your head spin. But in the end, I need to make a certain amount of profit on every stop that I make, and depending on how many cases I deliver, I can divide that by my cost and understand what it's going to be. So if somebody only wants 10 cases upon a delivery, it's going to be pretty expensive. If somebody wants 50 cases, then it's going to be less. Because of the expense nature of these broadline houses, and you can imagine the expense of running a 500,000 square foot warehouse with 500 employees, their expense per drop is a little more than a specialty company. They require more product. So specialty companies will tend to take drops that broadline companies won't. So with that said, and I might have started off with this, but let me tell you a little bit about who Cisco is in the US, Canada, and we've acquired a company in Ireland as well, and we are looking at a global acquisition right now. We're the actual global leader in marketing distributors. You can read this. We're the largest food service company in the world as far as under a single corporation. We are a public company in the US, so I can tell you exactly. I actually looked at our 2010 annual report to get these numbers. Our annual sales were about 38 billion. We moved about 1.2 billion cases, net earnings, and we distributed, our net earnings were a little over 1.2 billion, and our distribution centers across the country are about 180 different distribution centers. Produce is about 9% of our fresh distribution. We distribute out of 146 of those 180 distribution centers. We give our customers choices. I had talked about broadline, captured distribution, and specialty. We have all three. We have three different divisions that do produce for the most part. We have our broadline divisions that I was telling you about that service these big customers, and we have those in the US and Canada. We have Sigma, which is a completely separate division, run completely separate, that is just captured distribution. They only have 26 or 27 customers, but they're the huge customers, the big QSR and big chains. And then we have a company called FreshPoint, which is 100% produce. We have 31 distribution centers in the US, and all they do is fresh produce, 100%. So the customer has a menu of whether they want to order their produce with their groceries that they get, whether they want to choose to direct us to deliver it to them at a different cost basis, or whether they want that special attention with our specialty divisions. Produce is very much a focus for our company. We have buying offices that report through our department, that report through me. I have one in Salinas, California, and I have one in Florida. In those two offices, I have 65 full-time people that do nothing but manage the category, that buy the product. All of our companies call all their orders into our two offices, and it's our job to buy the product and put the orders together and get the logistics out and get it out to them. We have 18 full-time people in QA and food safety. You're going to start hearing me talk more and more about food safety. I am happily stunned that that has not been, no, it's not wood, but I'm happily stunned that that has not been a major focus of discussion today, because I can't go to a meeting, I can't go to a customer, I can't go anywhere without somebody talking to me about food safety on produce in the US. So it's a huge focus of ours. We have 18 full-time people, and I can tell you a little more about what they do later. We also, I actually office in Houston, Texas at our corporate headquarters, and I have a group of really smart people that work for me that make me look smart, thank goodness. And what we do is we decide pretty much where we're going to buy about 75% of our product and how much we're going to pay. So about 75% of the categories that we manage, we contract with the grower in some kind of formula fashion of cost. There's many, many ways to do that, whether it be a fixed cost, a range, a seasonal cost, but we really have gotten away from the negotiating the price every day. We have a relationship for what the product costs, what we need to pay for it, and leveraging our size. And so and I always say that that our merchandisers out in the operating companies at this point pretty much execute the play. We put the plays in. They don't have a lot of flexibility of what they're going to do. Our strategy, we have centralized leverage. I just talked about that, the contracting. We do have a huge branded category. We put private brand on our produce, Cisco brand. We're the only company out there that requires minimum weights on lettuces, romaines, green leaves, red leaves, iceberg, etc. We have specifications generally above and beyond #1 USDA. We can only pack our brand a certain percentage of the time. Our QA people go out and actually check the field and approve it to be packed on a given day, and if it doesn't meet our requirements, they can't pack our brand that day. So we can't guarantee our brand 365 days out of the year. We can only guarantee our brand when it meets our specifications. But when people get it, they're very happy with it. It's good and bad. We have a significant investment in food safety. We require any customer that we do business with that produces what we call a ready-to-eat product, which is a very specific list of products, to have a third-party good agricultural practices audit from an approved audit company, which we have 8, actually downloaded into our system. We've created, this is how complex this has become. We've created a neutral system with a company where you can't do business with us if you grow broccoli, lettuce, cauliflower, celery, all these items, unless you've actually downloaded a neutral third-party audit saying you have acceptable farming practices to do business with us. That's how significant it's become. The grower shippers are committed to food service. They have numerous packs. A little bit about food service industry right now. I'm going to switch, run a little bit behind, so I want to leave Simon some time. So I'm going to run through a little bit of trends in the industry. We had 16 years of consecutive growth in the U.S. of home eating. 3 years in a row with the economy, it went down. This year, it's projected to go up. Half the produce in the U.S. is consumed away from home today, about 49%. It used to be about 51%. These are, per a survey, not just produce, the top trends in the restaurant business in the USA in 2011. Locally sourced meats and seafood, local produce, sustainability, nutritional children's dishes, hyper-local, and children's nutrition. 5 out of the 6 of those could be pointed toward fresh produce. A little bit about Food Service 2020, which is part of PMA. We made the audacious goal almost 2 years ago of saying that we want to double the consumption of fresh produce in the restaurant industry in 10 years. That's an amazing goal. We've done a lot of work on it, thanks to the PMA staff. Here's the 3 key areas we are going to work on to get there. One is to reimagine the restaurant experience with a stronger produce presence. The other is increase consumer and food service confidence and demonstrate social responsibility. What does that mean, very briefly? Reimagine the experience, get back to flavor. Get back to aligning the right time to serve product. One of the great differences that I have unveloped in the US versus what you do here is our consumers expect to have product every single day, no matter where you get it from. 30 or 40% of what I buy is imported. I have to have product all the time. I have to have soft fruit all the time. I have to have seedless grapes all the time. And sometimes, due to the nature of the import or the nature of the season, it might not be the best time of year to put it on the menu. And we have to be careful because people have to taste the product. And if it doesn't taste good, they're not going to want to eat more. So we're working on that. You've heard a lot about, from everybody that spoke about sustainability. US, same way. We have customers that are very, very interested in where the product is coming from and how it's affecting the earth. We need to do a better job getting to our customers how we're doing that. Food service confidence has to do with food safety. I hear all this stuff. This morning I sent Brian an email that this was a true, an article, they found cucumbers again this morning. And you know where they found them? Anybody? They found them in a dumpster, and the dumpster had been